Remember Assassin's Creed? Yeah, they still come out every year like hurricane season.
Today and yesterday.
That question is just a cute way to set up me bitching about the good old days for 23 minutes. My story with Assassin's Creed starts at the very beginning. Well, kinda sort of. Assassin's Creed released on November 13th, 2007, and the PlayStation 3 on November 17th, 2006 at
$499 US and 549 Canadian dollars. And the 60 gigabyte PlayStation 3 for $599 US, $659 Canadian.
You serious?
I know Canada got it worse, but honestly, who cares? Anyway, I was 12 years old at the time. No way my mom was gonna spend half a grand on just a console. So the wait began. My older cousin managed to buy one for him and his brother. So when I visited, I got to play the new PlayStation 3, and the game he had to showcase was, you guessed it, Assassin's Creed. So there it was. My introduction to the next generation of consoles was Assassin's Creed, and it blew my mind. To me, this was the pinnacle of gaming. I got to play it on an HD TV and soak in these HD graphics way beyond what I was used to on the PlayStation 2. Entire cities densely packed with people, a step up from previous open world games I played. You could go anywhere and climb anything if you could figure it out. When I finally got a
PlayStation 3, starting at $399.
In early 2008, I played through Assassin's Creed, and damn did I love that game. I keenly remember looking at Lucy's white shirt and be able to see her black bra and thinking,
Nice.
Among other things, of course. I know the first Assassin's Creed isn't the perfect video game, and that it can get pretty repetitive, but me coming fresh off Prince of Persia, this felt like a natural progression. I also love the idea of hiding in plain sight, known as social stealth. And I enjoyed just, regular stealth. On top of all this, of course, was the story tying it all together. And let me tell you, I absolutely loved all of it, not just including, but especially the current day storyline. In Assassin's Creed, you're introduced not just to the Assassins and Templars of 1191 AD, but also the Assassins and Templars of 2012. There's Altair ibn Lahad and Robert de Sable, but also Desmond Miles and Dr. Warren Vidic. Of course, I didn't forget about Lucy Stillman, voiced by and modeled on the lovely Kristen Bell. Trust me, we'll get to her.
It is done.
Throughout the games, the present-day plot is used as a framing device for the Ancestral's adventures through time. The present-day Assassins and Templars use a machine called the Animus to have someone relive the memories of their ancestors. This is possible because apparently your ancestors' memories are stored in your DNA.
What is a memory, Mr. Miles?
It's the recollection of a past event.
Specific to the individual remembering the event.
Yeah, sure.
What if I told you that the human body not only housed an individual's memory, but the memories of his ancestors as well? Genetic memory, if you will. Migration, hibernation, reproduction. How do animals know when and where to go? What to do?
That's just animal instinct.
Now you're arguing semantics, Mr. Miles. Whatever you call it, the fact remains. These creatures hold knowledge absent the requisite first-hand experience. I've spent the past 30 years trying to understand why. I discovered something most fascinating. Our DNA functions as an archive. It contains not only genetic instructions passed down from previous generations, but memories as well. The memories of our ancestors.
And the Animus lets you decode and read these DNA files.
Precisely.
The Templars use people and their ancestors' memories to find ancient relics of great power called Pieces of Eden that have been lost to time. The Assassins, never letting the Templars have anything, of course, have made it their mission to find Pieces of Eden before the Templars can. Which is why they also use Animus's Animi.
Desmond, shut the up. Please.
Alright, cool, sweet. We got a solid premise. Hilarity will surely ensue.
Hey, what's the matter you out there?
2007. Assassin's Creed releases and sells 1,357,000 copies in its first month. Alright, cool, sweet. Ubisoft's new IP for next-gen consoles is a great success. NPD Software Sales puts Assassin's Creed in 9th for the top 10 best-selling games of 2007, with 1,870,000 units sold. Needless to say, it's the most fun anyone's ever had in the Middle East.
That's racist.
You're racist.
You best believe there was going to be a sequel. 2 years later, emphasis on the 2 years, on November 17, 2009, Assassin's Creed 2 was born.
ACII Auditori da Firenze.
With 2 years of development, the team at Ubisoft Montreal was able to build upon the mechanics and systems in AC1. With the game engine already fully built and an understanding of what Assassin's Creed is or what it was meant to be, the development team would focus their efforts on addressing the criticism levied against the first game and just trying to have more fun with the game overall. All this would result in Assassin's Creed 2 becoming the highest rated game in the series. You best believe there was going to be a sequel. So good news is, Assassin's Creed 2 delivered on its hype and expectations. Bad news is, a franchise spanning 30 games literally peaked at number 2.
Merda.
Now comes the trouble. See, Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed 2 were released 2 years apart, one in 2007 and 2 in 2009. But the next game in the series would be different, and in more ways than one. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, releasing on November 16, 2010, would not have the expected 2-year break or development cycle, instead releasing almost exactly 1 year later after its prequel. Unlike ACII, Brotherhood would not be a numbered entry, nor would the protagonist be a brand new character from Desmond's ancestry. Instead, the story would once again follow Ezio Auditore, being a direct continuation to his story at the end of ACII. ACII Brotherhood would mark the series' first foray into multiplayer. It was okay, I played it with a friend. The real 2 big additions to Brotherhood, which set it apart from 2, were 1. Instead of multiple large but separate maps, the game would take place predominantly in the massive single city of Rome, which you could ride horses in, which was neat. And 2. The Brotherhood system. Essentially, you'd go around liberating towers from Borgia control, rescue people from Borgia soldiers, then recruit the disaffected citizens to the Assassin's Order. From there, you play a little mini-game, sending them out on missions, leveling them up, and hoping they come back home okay. Once you have enough sufficiently leveled recruits, you can order them to attack at will and eventually perform the sick arrow storm from the trailer. Resulting in the formation of the Assassin's Brotherhood of Rome, hence the Brotherhood in the title. I had a lot of fun with this new addition. The contract missions were akin to those little Facebook games that were based on countdown timers. Since it occurred in the background of gameplay, it was an enjoyable gimmick. But a gimmick nonetheless. This would be the beginning of a trend with the Assassin's Creed franchise. While Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is my personal favorite entry in the franchise, in hindsight I can totally see how it's completely unnecessary to the story of Ezio, which had a pretty conclusive ending. Well, you know, as conclusive as Assassin's Creed endings can get.
Thanks, ass.
What?
Okay, so what? Why have I been running my mouth here for who knows how long about games I feel generally favorable about? Well, if you've played Brotherhood, you know that this is where the cliffhanger ending dial gets turned up to 11. It is at the end of Brotherhood that what at the time I thought was one of the craziest video game endings of all time,
Oh my god!
would turn out to be, hindsight being 2020 and all, the beginning of the end for Assassin's Creed in my eyes. Okay, so Desmond, Lucy, Rebecca, and Sean, having discovered the location of the Apple of Eden thanks to Ezio's memories, all head on down to the ruins of the Roman Colosseum where the apple lies beneath. Desmond has to parkour his way around to enter the Basilica di Santa Maria and let the others in. It's a nice extended platforming section similar to the crypts in ACII. It's really fun and you get to see how much Desmond has learned thanks to the Animus' bleeding effect. As Desmond enters the Basilica, he begins to see and hear Juno, talking all kinds of ominous and foreboding shit.
All the world is innocent once more. Innocent and ignorant.
He regroups with the gang and proceeds to utter the password that grants him entry to the Apple Chamber.
Think it speaks English?
Just say it.
Okay. 72.
Finally, after 3 games, we've obtained a piece of Eden, and then...
So where are the temples?
You want me to ask it?
Or think it or something. You sure you asked it the right thing?
I know this, I know that symbol. That's a Phrygian cap. It stands for freedom, and that's a Masonic eye. Now those two come together in only one vein.
What's that? I can't move.
Your DNA communes with the apple. You have activated it.
Let me go!
On the 72nd day before the moment of awakening, you, birthed from our loins and the loins of our enemies, the end and the beginning, whom we abhor and honor, the final journey commences. There is one who would accompany you through the gate. She lies not within our sight.
Okay, did you catch that? Let's run that back.
There is one who would accompany you through the gate. She lies not within our sight.
There is one who would accompany you through the gate. She lies not within our sight. If my English is correct, I take this to mean that Juno expects someone to be with Desmond at some point when going to some place, and that person is a woman who is not currently present. Okay.
The cross darkens the horizon.
The cross darkens the horizon. She could only be referring to the cross of the Templar Order. So the Templars are darkening the horizon, they're blocking the way or ruining the future, something like that. Okay.
Doing?
The path must be opened. You cannot escape your part in this. The scales shall be balanced.
Stop! Please!
You know very little. We must guide you. Cease your struggle.
No!
It is done. The way lies all before you. Only she remains to be found. Awaken the 6th. Go, alone!
It is done. The way lies all before you. Juno says this immediately after Lucy gets stabbed. I interpreted this as Lucy being the aforementioned cross darkening the horizon, which means Lucy was a Templar, which means she was a double agent from the beginning? Okay, we'll get to that later. Lastly, Juno says,
only she remains to be found.
As in the mystery woman who is meant to be alongside Desmond. At the time, this line seemed as the foreshadowing of a new important female character. I mean, I'm not crazy, right? That's what they were trying to say, right? Anyway, Juno ends with,
awaken the 6th.
Here's where Juno decides to get cryptic for the sake of being cryptic. This line can only be speculated on due to its obtuseness. Awaken the 6th could be referring to Desmond's 6th sensibilities or the 6th temple built where Juno is imprisoned. I don't know. I just don't know. Then she says,
go, alone.
Wait, hold on. Not 2 minutes ago she said,
there is one who would accompany you through the gate. She lies not within our sight.
But now he's going,
alone.
Okay, whatever, moving on. Desmond and Lucy collapse on the floor and Lucy begins to bleed out, as tends to happen after a stabbing. An unknown voice orders another unknown voice to put Desmond back in the Animus.
He's gone into shock. Put him back in the machine. It's the only way to fix this. But the Animus did this to him. Am I the expert or not? Do it.
No.
This isn't only a convenient way to let you to continue to play Ezio's memories, but also a huge plot point in the sequel. because Brotherhood sold 1.14 million copies just in the tail end of 2010. You best believe there was going to be a sequel. Now, while I played Assassin's Creed Revelations, the story itself was so unmemorable that I could not tell you what happened to Ezio in it. Other than, hey man, you want some bombs? Sure! And that he's an old man, and that someone at Ubisoft remembered that the entire crux of the series is that
Ezio is Desmond's ancestor. He has to have a child in order to have descendants.
So they paired this decrepit old man with the bustiest librarian in all of Constantinople. She's 17 years his junior because Ezio is 1, 52 years old, and 2, childless. They've put off this part of the story for so long while milking the games that they forgot about menopause making his future wife younger and younger, which on one hand is kinda creepy. But on the other hand, yeah, Ezio still got it. Anyway, in ACII Embers you see that he had a daughter with her, so got that plot hole squared away. Oh, as an aside, Christina best girl.
Look at you. Beautiful as ever.
But, oh, it's so like... It's been 2 years!
And I've thought of nothing but you.
So why all the lead up? Why all the fluff? That is to say, what's the point of this video? Well, firstly, I wanted to set the stage. I wanted to put you in my mindset so that you can see why I feel the way I feel. Like, empathize with me, damn it. This was a brand new game on a brand new console, a new story, new characters, new mechanics. This was supposed to be my next favorite thing after the conclusion of the Sands of Time trilogy. But that's not what it was. That's not what I got. Let's finally get into what happened with Lucy and also her voice actor Kristen Bell. Now, from here on out there's going to be a lot of conjecture from my end because the thing with non-disclosure agreements and contracts is that if you're out of the loop, you're out of the loop. You're on your own. Now, I'll provide evidence to the best of my abilities for my speculation, and I've researched this as best I can, but if you've got evidence that either supports or debunks my theory, please let me know. Now that I've gotten the "in my humble opinion" disclaimer out of the way, let's get to it. Assassin's Creed began development in 2004. Voiceover work probably began around 2006, 2007, around that time considering performance capture wasn't as prevalent as it is now. At the time, Kristen Bell, while having done voice work, was predominantly a TV actor and performed minor movie roles, being best known for her role as the titular Veronica Mars. Forgetting Sarah Marshall would become Bell's breakout role upon release in 2008. It's safe to assume that she filmed the movie before or after her recording sessions wrapped for Assassin's Creed, due to the film being shot primarily on location in Hawaii and her playing the titular Sarah Marshall. The creators of Assassin's Creed, specifically director Patrice Désilets, producer Jade Raymond, and lead writer Corey May, originally planned to do a trilogy of games, which would have been the norm at the time. Jade Raymond, producer of the first game, revealed at the Develop Conference 2018 that they definitely planned 3 games. They also wanted to set up a structure for future entries by other creators. Ubisoft gave the green light for the foundational 3 games, moving forward with future games after gauging the success of the initial entries. Obviously, ACII 1 and 2 sold really well. With only 3 games planned, it would make sense that Ubisoft's initial contract with Kristen Bell would end at the 3rd game, specifically Brotherhood, leading to renegotiations for future games. She signed to do 3 games, and wouldn't you know it? 1, 2, 3. Well, as I explained earlier, when Bell signed on to do Assassin's Creed in 2007, her star was yet to rise to the level it would be in 2010, the year of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood's release. Negotiations broke down between Ubisoft and Bell. Ubisoft altering the production of the games to have one out every year meant that Bell would have to appear in more than the 3 originally planned games.
Donc c'est, voilà, celui, je l'ai écrit, on a enregistré, j'ai tué Lucie. Ouais. D'accord. Vous savez c'est qui Lucie? C'est voilà, parce que notre amie Kristen Bell, elle voulait des royautés.
Ah, d'accord.
Oui. Oui, celle qui passe une journée dans un studio d'enregistrement voulait des royautés sur chacune des copies vendues.
D'accord. Oui.
Donc je l'ai tué.
Bell wanted residuals for every copy sold if she was to sign on for more games. Ubisoft being Ubisoft had her written out. Patrice Désilets didn't even tell her she was dead while recording. Now I've seen people online calling Kristen Bell greedy for not doing more games for less than her talent is worth. Remember that Bell was already a Hollywood actor when they got her to play the role of Lucy. Residuals are the norm in television and film. She had her own name recognition, bringing attention to Ubisoft's new game well outside the video game industry, something I'm sure Ubisoft was banking on when they casted her.
You're a huge star in Assassin's Creed.
I am one of the main characters, yes.
Maybe Ubisoft shouldn't be hiring Hollywood talent if they don't want to pay Hollywood prices. There are also people claiming that she was the one who wanted out of the series to focus on her movie career. While I didn't find any evidence of that claim, I did find an interview with IGN Bell did in 2012. She seemed really enthusiastic about her work on Assassin's Creed and the possibility of returning. So, to answer what Google tells me is people's very sad question, why did Lucy have to die? She had to die because Ubisoft didn't want to pay Kristen Bell for her talent anymore. Assassin's Creed was already wildly profitable, so the Hollywood actor gimmick wasn't necessary for them to do anymore. Kill her off. What about the fans? F the fans. What about the plot? Psh. When the creator and creative director of your biggest franchise gets ceremoniously escorted out of the building by security, I don't think you give a shit about the plot. That's the real reason Lucy died, along with the Assassin's Creed I remember. Not because, as the new plot goes,
Lucy was a triple agent. She was a Templar who spied on the Assassins, who thought she was an assassin spying on the Templars. Juno had Desmond kill her, as Lucy would end up interfering with Juno's plans.
I mean, you buy it if you really want to, but in my country, we call that a retcon. Why do you think the only appearance Lucy has after Brotherhood is in a flashback, in a DLC, for Revelations, and she's only seen from behind without saying the word? It's almost like they don't have the rights to use her likeness in any new games. Not to mention none of Juno's babble from the end of Brotherhood came to pass. This is when everything started going downhill for the plot of Assassin's Creed, and the franchise in general. The last ACII game I bought was 3 in 2012. I was expecting a satisfying conclusion, I just ended up completely disappointed. Black Flag was just the final nail in the coffin for me. I mean, if you like pirates and being a Canadian game dev, great, but that's not Assassin's Creed to me. Desmond's dead, Lucy's dead, Vidic's dead, Sean's a barista, Rebecca's a courier, and just like real life, 2012 came and went and ain't shit happened. I haven't played Assassin's Creed Origins, nor do I have any interest in doing so. Not interested in 2018's Odyssey either. If you enjoy the newer games, then that's fine. As long as there's one person who enjoys those games, they deserve to exist. This video is for me and the people I've seen share this opinion on the franchise. I've been wanting to get this off my chest since 2012. Probably best to move on from the franchise. I mean, Patrice Désilets has a new studio and Ancestors is on the way. Keep an eye out for that. I know I will. Hey, real quick, I might do a comment response to this video just to see how people react to this information. Depends on the comments really, but more importantly, if someone watching speaks French and can translate that Patrice Désilets interview, you will definitely be pinned comment. Okay, back to your credits. Hope you enjoy the video.
Have you played Assassin's Creed at all?
I have played a little bit of Assassin's Creed, yeah.
What system did you play it on?
I played it on Xbox.